15 of 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews, the podcast where we take a random movie from Metacritic's all-time movie list. This is Colin.
This is Niall.
This is Random Movie 1718. It is Living from 2022. It runs for 102 minutes. Director is Oliver Hermanus. Original writer is Kazuo Ishiguro, who wrote The Remains of the Day. And this movie is based on his original 1952 Ikiru movie directed by Akira Kurosawa. I don't know if he actually wrote the original one. Maybe he's not. I don't know. I didn't research it that much. Sorry.
No, I haven't read the book either, or I haven't seen the original.
I did watch the trailer for it just this evening for Ikiru, 1952 one, and I will tell you from the trailer it did something better than this version, and let's get back to that later because I have a couple of issues with this movie. Main cast is Bill Nighy, Amy Lou Wood, Bill Nighy, obviously, Love Actually, and the narrator, commentator for World's Most Scenic Railway Journeys, which I very much enjoy.
I have to admit, I've seen that as well.
And he's on the train a lot in this movie, so it's sort of quite apt.
Train's important to this, not like Metroland.
No, Metroland's choice of there's a lot of commuting in this one, and that's what happens in Metroland too, but the commuting in this movie is done quite well, and it's filmed quite aesthetically pleasing.
It's very aesthetically pleasing. Well, obviously the train is a steam engine, and there's something just pleasant about that.
True. There's a Harry Potter connection because Adrian Rawlins, who plays Middleton, plays James Potter, and Bill Nighy played Minister of Magic Rufus Scrimgeour.
And then they've got steam engines again, so it's another link.
Yeah, big old HP link. Amy Lou Wood has been in the news recently because she was in the White Lotus latest season, so she's quite popular right now. We have Alex Sharp, who plays Mr. Wakeling, the young chap we see at the start of the movie. He was in The Three-Body Problem, and I haven't watched that yet because I didn't really trust the original Game of Thrones guys with this book adaptation. I read the books and they're great. I don't want to watch this series until it's all over and see what people say about it.
Yeah, the current I have it in my list on Netflix. The current reviews coming in for it seem reasonable. Again, I haven't watched it either. I'm doing something similar. I don't want to be disappointed.
No, for sure. And I thought, like, from the clips I saw of it, it's like, that's not in the books, you absolute morons. Yeah. Anyway, this was quite popular, this movie. The budget was not publicly disclosed from what I garnered. The box office took in 12 million, which isn't a lot, so I don't know if they made a profit or not, but they were nominated for Best Actor and Best Adapted Screenplay, and BAFTA nominated for Best Actor, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Outstanding British Film. Metacritic score of 81 and user score of 7.3. In a nutshell, what did you make of Living? Did you live through it, or were you dying?
It was quite depressing, to say the least. I quite liked Bill in this. It seems like it was kind of made for him. Understated, quiet man who realizes, the quiet man who realizes that his life has been kind of pointless for the last 40 years when he gets diagnosed with a terminal cancer. Tries to live it up a bit, realizes he doesn't want to party all the time because he's too feckin' old, and figures out a way of, leaving happy.
Yeah, but does it show enough? It's not like it. There's. It
reminded me a little bit of My Name. My Name is Otto?
Yeah.
Ovo.
My Name is Otto.
Otto is the one with Tom Hanks.
Oh, what the fuck? Ove. My name is Ove.
Ove, yes.
Yeah, my name is Ove.
It reminded me a little bit of that, only this lacked comedy, which was a bit of a problem. There was some light moments in it, but
this lacked comedy. It also lacked a lot of emotion. I thought Bill Nighy. So here's the difference between what I saw in the trailer for Ikiru and this one. In Ikiru, the main character is crying a lot, showing emotion. Bill Nighy doesn't change emotion throughout the entire movie. Now, that's his character. That's fine.
Stiff upper lip and all that jazz.
All that jazz. It's set in the 1950s. Every bloke has a bowler hat and everybody's stiff upper lip and calling everybody Mister something.
Yeah.
But there's not enough exposition at the start to show him what he was like
As a child.
before. Well, not as a child, but before the diagnosis that he's dying. We see him in the office, and he puts a file into the thing and just shuffles work away. That's it. And then we get the diagnosis, and we're like going, oh, and then he's going, well, I'm not going to go into work for a while, and now I'm going to save and build this park for somebody. There's just not enough depth to it to make me enthralled in the actual arc of his character, to be honest with you.
Part of me, I'm going to disagree a little bit for a
Good.
change. Part of me likes that there isn't a great deal of exposition into his character, mostly because for the last 40 years of his life, he hasn't had a character. He hasn't had, from what we can tell, any real, human emotion. He's been kind of Mr. Zombie, as
And
Margaret calls him later on.
he was a zombie in Shaun of the Dead.
He was. So it's very apt. So he has no range of emotion. He's just been waiting to die for 40 years without knowing it.
Yeah, but why do I feel more engaged and along for the ride with a arc like Ebenezer Scrooge, where he goes through the same sort of arc and maybe the same as
Well, I think this guy is more tragic than Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer's an asshole, but he's miserable with it. Whereas this guy is not an asshole. He's just miserable. He just doesn't know he's miserable.
But you have a bit of Lost in Translation sort of vibes as well, because he goes with Mrs. Harris and Miss Harris, sorry. But when he gets around to telling her that he's dying, I didn't feel anything, and she's crying, and he's not, because that's his character. But I just didn't. I never really got above, and I'm a sentimental old fool, but I just didn't get into. I don't think it's a deep movie. It's very surface level, I believe, in a sense, and I didn't think there was enough sort of meat to the bones. Like, he gives a letter at the end to Mr. Wakeling. He met him once before he fucked off, and then he obviously worked with him a bit on the playground project, and gives him the letter. He obviously sees him as somebody that could make a difference or whatever in the world or in the community.
My take on it was that he hasn't been ground down by the bureaucracy yet, whereas everybody else in the team kind of have. They're all broken. They're all past the point of redemption. They are the problem. Whereas Mr. Wakeling possibly is a chance of making a bit of a change in his life and possibly making a bit of change for good for other people. Whereas he thinks of everybody else as like him.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying it.
I take your point.
Surface level to a point.
We could be brought into him a little bit more, to associate with him a little bit more. So when the bad news hits and where he starts showing emotion, that we are more invested in it. So yeah, yes, I'll give you that. It's not going to pull on the heartstrings as much because we don't care as much about him.
No. And because he doesn't show emotion, then we can't cry with him. Like at the one, like when I think the only person that cries is Miss Harris twice in the movie.
Yeah. Not even his son, but then I think that's just an extension of him. He's got a lot
also 50s male personas.
You're not going to show emotion.
No. So you do the whole point of this movie, if anybody has not watched it, is that there's an office full of 1950s gentlemen who are council workers, and they pencil push and they create skyscrapers of documents, as they call it. And Miss Harris's first thing is like, keep it high, or else it looks like you're not working, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
good rule of thumb.
It's very accurate as how I understand bureaucracy in the council, especially in 1950s.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we get Like, this is the thing. We get introduced to these three ladies who come in and they want to build a playground and they've been pushed around. And Mr. Wakeling follows them around and tries to help them, but he doesn't. And they don't ever get anywhere. They keep coming for to build a playground on this bomb site from World War II, and they never get anywhere. And then basically we forget about that until the last fifth of the movie, basically,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
my opinion.
When he comes to some sort of realization, we can get into it when that happens. I do like that there is a nice first part of a symmetry between the start and the end, where he says, "Well, we can keep it here for now, no harm."
That's a good
I do like
point
that.
to make.
A piece of documentation about something that somebody wants to get done, and they don't give a flying F. It's been pushed around.
Yeah,
Just leave it in the
papers.
inbox. Who cares? Be grand.
Yeah, you shuffle papers around. We have so that's his work relation and how he acts in work, and that's what we see. We don't have any build up. We see him in present day. We don't see him as a younger person, perhaps. That's he says a little bit in exposition storytelling to Miss Harris, but we don't get a little any journey until we find out from the doctor in the next scene that he's dying.
Seconds of flashback after he's been informed by the by the doc. He goes home, sits in the sofa, and has flashes of his youth.
His son. It's his son. That's his son he flashbacks to. It's only his son that he flashbacks to.
This confused me.
People are talking to him. He turns in different directions and people are talking to him about his son.
That's about his son. Oh, okay. It just feels a bit... That bit annoyed me. That should have had more flash. I don't mean that it needed to be 20 minutes long. Just a little bit. 5 minutes.
Also,
just some background. Some connection with his son.
We need something. I think the end of the movie as well needs to have been shortened down quite a bit. He dies quite quickly, and then we get another 20 minutes or so of his legacy. Yeah, he's not. He's a zombie. But then that's the thing, though. So he's at home getting these flashbacks. His son comes in with his daughter-in-law, and there's no relationship there, and we don't know why. We don't know how that's evolved into sort of we don't want to be around this person. Because he's not. We only get his persona at work. We don't get his persona at home. Then we have a cut to what seems to be his wife picture on the mantelpiece. Give me some more emotion about that, please. It's just a woman in a frame. I would like to have seen
something similar to Ove. I'd like to have seen some sort of interaction and emotional connection there, and maybe explain why he disconnects with humanity.
Right?
Because she dies.
Yeah. Yes, that's just like the first couple of minutes of Up tells you the entire story of an old man's life with his wife. It
if you don't
kills you.
If you don't cry in that thing, you're not human.
It kills you in 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's an amazing piece of cinematography. Animation. It's just ridiculous.
I need to know why, and I don't want to just take it. For example, it's a 1950s businessman with bowler hats, like a Magritte nightmare. I wanted to see how it brought him down to this level of no relationship with his son. Why? Because he didn't react to his wife's death. He hit the bottle at home after his wife's death. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a man who hit the bottle. I think he just closed himself off.
Well, we have to decide
decades.
That,
but yeah, that's the problem. We have to fill in the gaps. I would have liked to have seen that transition.
Yeah.
That is an issue, I have to admit.
So yeah, basically it doesn't go into work for the next third of the movie. he doesn't show up.
There's a picture of an empty chair where he sits.
Quite a few times.
July, then it goes back to the chair and then back to the calendar. August, it's still empty.
Yeah, a couple of things happen. One thing happens before this. No, two things happen before that July to August shift. And we just need to generalize about it. He goes down to a beachside area and meets Mr. Sutherland for some reason. And he takes him out on a bender.
Yeah, he overhears Mr. Sutherland chatting to his landlady about not being able to get sleeping tablets.
Yeah.
So he gives him 10 packets of sleeping tablets, and Mr. Sutherland's like, okay,
yeah. So he gives him all the gossip that he's 6 months to live, and she's like, all right, But then
I
this is
did. I'm going to disagree with you. You were about to say you don't like. I like the bit at the end where they go in a. They just blow out like
yeah, we're going to
absolutely
blow out.
trolleyed.
Yeah.
He's not enjoying himself, Mr. Williams,
Well, he's
uh,
trashed.
and Mr.
He's in a
Sutherland
coma already.
looks over and goes, "Oh," and it's a super depressing moment, and I kind of like it for that because his face just drops and he looks at his new friend, and he's like, "Ah, shit,
Well, yeah,
this was a mistake."
it was good imagery because there was just so much life around and people dancing,
And
ladies
then
stripping on
well,
the
actually, I
thing.
like the music fades out from the happy music to sort of a melancholic, sort of depressing tune, and just
Mm.
two faces. I like that, and I like that this isn't a movie about him enjoying the rest of his life doing something he isn't natural for his character. So I like that this failed miserably.
Again, though, it gives sort of mixed signals. I didn't know where the movie was going at this point. I was figuring out, like, from the descriptions, like, some guy figures out he's dying and decides to turn his life around. I thought he was going to do stuff then. I thought something was going to happen. He would get a little shift in his
No, no.
character or approach to dealing with people. Like, we do see him then meeting up with Miss Harris after this and taking her to a fancy restaurant.
I again like this scene. I like the relationship
Fortnum's.
that they build. It's kind of maybe a bit twee, but it's quite innocent. It's a nice little.
It's fine, but it comes out of nowhere. He'd never talked to her before, and so now she's giving him all the nicknames of the people in the office and calls him Mr. Zombie.
No, he's starting to
Dead,
come out of
but not
himself
dead.
a little bit because, yeah, what the hell, I'm dying.
Yeah, but again, it's the way he delivers the character. He's just stone faced.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Mr.
1950s
Zombie.
Mr. Williams,
Mr.
Mr.
Zombie.
Zombie.
That's funny. Don't be embarrassed. Like, it's not wooden like that, but it's very.
Yeah,
He doesn't have a range. He doesn't have a range, and that's fine, I guess. But from what I saw from the Japanese trailer, the guy was shedding tears and really going through the motions of emotional breakdown from finding out he's dead, basically dying.
he needs to have a stiff upper lip and just suck it up.
Yeah, some busybody neighbor snitches on him being with a younger woman. It's like, then the son and her are like going, "This is bullshit. What's he doing with a younger woman?" It's like, fucking ask him. It just
No, I'll ask him. All right, I'll ask him. Oh, hey, Dad.
pass the gravy, Dad.
It's awful. This scene. This is such an awkward scene. Intentional, obviously.
The daughter-in-law tries to bring it up, and the dad just goes, "Yeah, it's true. Everybody works in London now."
Yeah, you're right. Well done.
It's a silly scene, and I guess it's trying to portray that they just don't have any relationship whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not great. And it shows the lack of communication of any of them in that house, which is god awful.
Yeah.
It's a very, very depressing scene in that respect because he has to tell him. He should be effing telling him, "I'm on the way out," but he doesn't. He chooses not to, and the son has issue with what he thinks is happening and can't bring it up.
Yeah.
I think the lack of communication or the inability to communicate with the father son scenario in this is kind of a large part of what's being portrayed here.
Yeah, and obviously it's a choice in storytelling that they don't go into the reasons, and
It would be nice if they did.
I need to know. I need to know more rich tapestry of what's going on. I understand some movies you don't need it. Lost in Translation, excellent movie. You don't really know what happens afterwards. You don't really know why they have
Ships
this
in the night,
connection.
baby.
Really, ships in the night, and that's just what it is. And it's a great setting, and it's a young girl with an older man, and there's nothing crazy weird about it. It just works. But
Yep.
we don't get that. We get a bit of mishmash of everything in this movie, and just didn't hit the target for me in places. But yeah, he goes to this is when we have the month transpiring calendar thing, which is an okay bit of cinematography. But we really don't know. Yeah, we really don't know how much time passes really, because we jump a little bit as well later on. She goes to see Miss Harris again as a waitress, and goes to the cinema and goes to the amusements again, and takes her for a beer, and she's like going, "This is weird. Are you infatuated with me?"
Kind,
Yeah, kind of, but not
kind
really.
of, but not really that way, you know.
Yeah, I looked at you and I saw life. Basically, saw that's what I should have
I wish
viewed
I was
as.
young and you could be old like me. Now, good trade.
Yeah, good trades. Yeah. So Harris, this is when Harris cries, and I'm like going, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but
You,
this is where he has his realization how he's going to end himself. Not end himself, but how he wants to go out. He realizes he doesn't want to party the night away or any of that crap, and decides, I'm going to be the best damn bureaucrat out there.
yeah, and he thinks that, but that's the thing, though. We see one instance of a project that's been shuffled around, and he just says,
That's the
"All
one.
right, I'm going back to the office, and I'm gonna bloody get that playground."
You can get one piece of work done in my entire life.
Well, exactly, yeah. Is that really a reward or a
To him,
redemption
it
arc?
is. To him, it is. Because
Yeah,
he sat on a piece of paper for the last 40 years.
yeah. It's very much like Scrooge coming back from his trips with the ghosts and going, "All right, I'm going to change everything,"
Yeah. Yeah, exactly what it is.
but quite quickly. But he comes in and rallies the troops, and they're going, "What the hell? You haven't been in work for 2 months." Or you've
Shut up
been,
and do your work. We're going outside and we're going to build a
yeah.
playground.
The interesting thing is, it does this. So it has a good camera angle.
Boom.
Yeah, so like there's a good camera angle. He says, "Okay, we're going to take the bus. It's raining, then we're going to take a walk." And there's an upward camera angle. That's quite good. He's
Very good.
silhouetted.
And dead a coffin.
Fades to black, and you're like going,
What
"Surely
the
that's
fuck?
not his coffin."
Yes, it is. It's such a sudden slap, really, isn't it?
Oh, it's like a parallax view when she's having a conversation.
And
Boom,
morgue.
morgue.
Yeah. I kind of like this, though. It's
I was confused.
very
though.
unexpected.
Yeah, I was confused. I was going, okay, what are they going to fill
Because
the rest of the
as it's
movie with?
zooming into the picture, the portrait, it kind of looks like, no, maybe it's not him. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I had a
it
bit
is
of
him.
because of the bloody longer nights now, my fucking blinds don't really work, so I have a bit of a shine on the TV. I was like, is that
Zoom
that's
in.
him?
Yeah.
So I was going, okay, what are they doing now for the rest of the movie?
It was a weird choice. I like the sudden cut. I like the what the F is going on. But when they come back to him being alive and the plan, that bit's not great. I like that he's dead, and then we go back again. I like the jumping around.
That's fine. That's a good. It's a good sort of innovative thing that keeps you awake a little bit.
But just
yeah.
the fact that it's one project, it's one thing. It doesn't feel like he's left a lot behind him.
And we don't exactly, but when we don't see the impact that makes us feel emotional. We see the funeral, and the three ladies are in the back with the project, and they're crying.
But there's
But
no
with the
connection.
flashbacks, there's no connection. I don't go, oh, it's like Philadelphia.
Oof. Yeah.
Tom Hanks, the wake after the thing. It's a ball fest.
Yeah.
Because, and the music is amazing, but it just pans around, and everybody's just telling stories about him, laughing. I have no connection to who he was as a person here, and the movie isn't about that. I'm guessing, obviously, but I want it to be.
One bit I would have liked here as well. So, Son talks to Miss Harris.
Right.
Actually, he cockblocks
Mr.
Wakeling,
Yes,
who's about to try and ask her out at the funeral. And he's
Yeah,
like,
he was
no,
doing like
come over me.
He was
He's like,
doing like
oh, no.
He was doing like a Hugh Grant sort of. Would you?
Yeah.
Could you possibly?
So they're chatting in the corner, and he asks, so did he know he was ill beforehand?
Right.
I would have liked a little bit more of father-son explanation when it zooms back into him being alive. I'd like to show the lack of communication a little bit more and how it fails. That's not done. So that needed a bit more done.
And you know what? Like that. And at that scene, I actually really didn't know what he was going to... I thought he was going to ask her, were you in the restaurant with my dad?
Were you canoodling?
Yeah, like I thought that's what he was going to talk about.
Yeah,
same as. Like, so that's how confusingly thin this sort of plot was. There was like... I don't know what... I thought he was going to be angry with her for, dating his dad and looking for his money, whatever.
It takes him a while to get it out as well.
Yeah, he's stumbling around. Yeah. And then she starts crying. It's like 2 times she cries. She cries now. I'm like going... And she keeps on apologizing. It's very slow to kick off as well, the conversation. And he just keeps on, as you said. stumbling to start it. But I don't get that emotion from him, and so I don't feel pity for him.
I feel a little bit of. I feel sorry for Miss Harris, but there's not enough build up of the son.
No, and there's not enough build up for Miss Harris to be crying. She went out with Mr. Williams twice.
She got a
Not
rabbit.
a date. She got a rabbit. She learned how to do that. And we see that. Months later, we have a montage of Mr. Wakeling and Miss Harris dating.
Yeah.
And then I'm like going, oh, this is what we're doing? We're going to have a romantic third act here where blah, blah, blah. And then Mr. Middleton, as you said at the start, bookends. Like, describe it.
Yeah, somebody comes in, they've got a piece of work that's been
Mr.
passed
Singh.
around. Mr. Singh, yes. A piece of paperwork has been passed around between different departments within the council. It's back to them. And he's like, no, that's not really for us at all. We could push it back to blah, 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 whatever department is. But, just leave it here. No harm. Which is exactly what Mr. Williams says at the very start, which is a bureaucratic paper pushing.
Yeah, Mr. Wakeling stands up, tries to say something, but then just sits down going, yeah, I probably need this job.
Yeah, but then he goes off and looks at the playground and reads the letter again, which says, go look at the playground.
Yeah, go there.
I'm already there.
Think about the modest satisfaction we had upon completion of this small thing, this lasting monument.
Then he gets accosted by a copper.
Hey, piss off.
What are you doing?
There's no children here. Piss off. But then it's like, oh, I know Mr. Williams.
But I never met him, but I've seen him. And I left him to die in the swing.
Pretty much. Yeah, because the son earlier on said he did it in the cold or whatever. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that's not explained until this scene.
The copper starts crying. He's a very emotional copper. Basically says, yeah, because he's singing the song he sung drunkenly at the start of the movie. On the swing. Yeah.
What was it again? The Rowantree.
Rowantree. Yeah, so he sings that on the thing. One scene just that we skipped over that I just want to talk about, which sort of tries to give exposition to what he did in the interim, was the train carriage of the four characters, Mr. Middleton, Mr. Wakeling, and the two other dudes who are incidental characters. They basically, they were like going, well, he was obsessed, and then we'd have a flashback, and then, he begged Sir James, and we have a flashback of him begging Sir James to do the playground. Again, just too little, too late, and too small of a thing. And it's one thing he did. As you said, it's one thing he did. Does that make him a fucking savior? And he's perfectly redeemed himself. Totally redeemed yourself. Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, so I don't think there was ever redemption on the card. And there's nothing to be redeemed, really. He's never done anything bad. He's just miserable. He is happy at the end. I think that's the only takeaway. Out of a life where he spent his life in a grey haze of meh, he did die happy.
Well, that's what Mr. Wakeling says to the copper to try to appease him, because the copper, as you said, left him there to die in a swing. And Mr. Wakeling goes, listen, mate, he was happy.
He was happy. He was Browners anyway.
Yeah, he weeks to live. You're good. I thought, so it was sort of, we have this sort of cinematography not issue, but it's just like we see him swinging and it pans up. And I thought it doesn't stop, it keeps swinging.
He slows down. Well, I was assuming he was dying at this point.
I was assuming that it was going to stop. I thought it was going to stop.
Keels over, vomits on the ground.
I want gore. Then it fades into then current day of kids using the thing, and it's the swing, fade out, the end.
Yeah.
I like the way the start and the end of the movie look like a 50s movie with the graphics and the sort of
font choices were all very
font
50s.
Choice and the real footage of 50s London.
At the very start, and the intro was fantastic.
Yes,
actually,
it was good.
There were some interesting production choices. I really liked that. It did feel quite authentic.
Yes.
Apart from that, it was kind of unimpressive from a production point of view, but there were some nice touches bookending the movie.
Yeah. I'm just doing my scores while you waffle on.
Yeah, I need to dig out
Um,
my scores as well.
yeah, I'm guessing you're going to be higher than me. Like, I'm
I
not.
think I might, but there's elements I think where you don't like it nearly as much as me.
Yeah,
Plot.
I'm going to give the plot 2, a below
Ooh,
average.
harsh.
Yeah, it's very harsh, but I just didn't. As I've just said through the entire podcast, I'm not going to repeat myself. The reasons
Yeah,
being the stuff I just talked about,
yeah,
and
stuff
all the
stuff
issues.
that could have improved it.
Yes.
I'm going to throw a 2.75. It's not good. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's a decent plot. Okay, acting. This is where I think me and you are going to differ vastly. I actually liked
Yeah.
Bill in
The
this.
portrayal.
I
Yeah.
liked
Yeah.
his subtle despair hidden beneath a stoic sort of 1950s gentleman.
Yeah. Mm.
I liked how he portrayed it. I suspect you did not.
No. Yeah. I think it was an obvious. It was a choice he made. I think I read today that he practiced a lot to speak in a thinner voice. He's a very frail person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted him to do some narration of the train, just like his documentary series did.
Because he has an amazing voice when he's not
Yeah,
being too subtle with it.
the 725 from Clapton goes through a beautiful scenery. Yeah. So what are you giving for acting then?
I'm going to chuck it a 4. I thought him
For Colonel.
very good. I liked him in it, and I liked Miss Harris as well. Everybody else is kind of incidental.
Yeah. Do you know who Miss Harris reminded me of? The actress. She reminded me of Gilly in Game of Thrones.
It's exactly who I think could be her teeth. Very
It's the teeth.
prominent.
They're very prominent, and
Yeah.
it's a lot been said about them in The White Lotus, and I think a lot of bullying going on. But
Really?
she's got that face that you don't forget, really.
She's a very good looking lady, and nothing to do with her teeth.
Yeah. I'm giving 2.75. I'm away from you with that. Above average, but I didn't go, wow, that's amazing. I think the plot hindered any sort of emotional reaction that I had to the acting. Miss Harris crying twice for such a weepy, emotional movie. It should be a bit more emotion being played. I understand. I'm not a moron. I understand the character, Mr. Williams, isn't emotional. But that's what I want. That's what makes me cry. It's like the stoic dude and his son have this crappy relationship. They somehow rekindle it on his deathbed or something. I know that's fucking formulaic.
They never do. They never do.
Yeah, I know it's formulaic, and I also don't like formulaic movies. But in this instance, I needed some sort of
You needed
emotional
it,
connection. Yeah, I'm gonna
You needed a big
change.
fish moment.
Oh yeah, don't get me started. I probably knocked the plot down even more if it compared it to Big Fish. I really did dig the soundtrack. I'm gonna give it 3. I like the piano music throughout. So I thought it was quite cool.
We have no bananas today.
I saw that movie, or saw that song. Yeah, I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, I go with 3 here as well. It's quite good. It's obviously period music, and I like that we get a bit of music while he's out with Mr. Sutherland. So that's quite good.
Yeah, that was interesting. That strip club circus, that was fun.
That was fun. From a production
yeah.
point of view, I quite like that.
There was a good atmosphere in there. And obviously the 50s, I always love looking at 50s interiors just because you can, I think in the house I grew up in, there was a little bit of 50s still left in it. Like the lights, some of the light switches was that circle.
Little,
Yeah. My granny's house, probably the same. So I like seeing that stuff.
Yeah.
Production, I'm going to give I'll give 3.25. I had a 3 up till a millisecond ago. I'll give 3.25 because
the light switches.
The light switches. It's 0.25 for the light switch.
Production was good. I'm giving it. I have 3 written down. I'm not going to change it. Production was good. You know, it set the scene very well. You get a feel for the time period. It's very well done. You know, wardrobe fantastic. Yeah, and the choice of film reel from the start and end. Yes, very good.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
I like
Let's have that.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. Reviews. Let's see what what critics said about it. I think everything's good. No, the Associated Press, Jake Coyle gave it 50. He said there's a stale emptiness to living that doesn't entirely dissipate in even its most moving scenes. I agree with you
I
wholeheartedly.
agree with him as well, but I think that's kind of the point. The emptiness of the man himself.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody says in IndieWire says Living downplays its drama to such an extent that it can feel as the director and the writer lack the nerve to attempt the same trick. I don't know what he's talking about there, but I'm just thinking.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking it just it downplays it a lot. The drama of somebody dying. I think that's good.
Yeah.
100 from the Telegraph, Robbie Collin. It's a film that could have easily smacked of an exercise, but its beauty feels thrillingly natural, and its considerable emotional power is honestly earned. There you have it.
Okay. I don't really agree with any of them, so that's good, I suppose.
Yeah. All right, so let's leave this episode on a swing in the cold and let it die.
Yeah, as a copper, not doing your job.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't have a night's sleep for the rest of his life. He left that poor guy out in the cold.
Out to die.
Yeah.
Soulless monster.
Yeah. All right, let's roll the dice and see what we're going to get for episode 114. And we are getting random movie 1518, which is The Long Good Friday from 1982, which is a British mob movie with Bob Hoskins and Helen Mirren in the
Big
title
names.
roles. Yeah, just a very short summary in Metacritic. An up-and-coming gangster is tested by the insurgents of an unknown, very powerful threat. It's got a Metascore of 82 and a user score of 8.3. Directed by John Mackenzie, who just directed 2 movies, The Fourth Protocol being the other one. Written by Barry Keefe, who didn't write anything else. It runs a bit under 2 hours, 1 hour and 54 minutes. So It'll be manageable, but fine. I have heard of this movie, but I've never seen it before. And Bob Hoskins obviously is a powerhouse in the British acting scene. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is a big.
He never recovered from the Mario Brothers movie.
Oh yeah.
That was, yeah.
Oh, he's also in Mona Lisa, Brazil.
Oh, he's got some good titles behind him.
And the BT Telecom ads of the 80s. It's good to talk.
No, not when you say like that, Bob.
No, it's not. Yeah, who is this? Stop calling me.
And then you got Helen Mirren. She's amazing.
Of course, you can. Helen Mirren. Like she's one of those actors where you're going, yeah, what was she in? she's in every movie. It's like played the Queen, Gosford Park, Madness of King George, Barbie.
I haven't seen Barbie.
Don't bother.
Oh.
Yeah. So good. Should be fine.
The Long Good Friday. Yeah. Bob Hoskins. I haven't seen him in anything in donkeys.
Yeah, true that. All right, cool. That'll be episode 114 of The Long Good Friday. If you haven't interacted with us and you don't know who we are, send us an email, please. We're lonely and old. We need friends. Old. Yes. Summer is coming up. Today is June 3rd. Give you a heads up, we might take July off to do a little bit of a reshuffle of things here, because we've had roughly 2 years of episodes, and we need to look at things and take a little perspective on our approach to this. Maybe rebranding, retitling, see what our brains come up with during the summer month of July. But we'll give you more information as that over the next couple of episodes before our summer break. All right, we'll see you in episode 114. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.